So, for my paper, I decided to write about cults and the psychological mechanisms that are involved in that. Some background information: the definition that I use for cult is a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. There are several definitions out there, some of them revolve around religion, and then there's the more mainstream one that's like cult culture, which is just like fashion and stuff like that. Um, Another thing is that these leaders are usually extremists. They're not just having a club. They have a mission and they will get to their means by any extreme measures that they have to take. And then I also spoke a lot about Charles Manson, who's a very infamous cult leader in my paper. So, Charles Manson, as you probably know, um, was a very popular cult leader back in the 70s. He called his mission Helter Skelter. That was all about the race war, and he got that idea originally from a Beatles song. He believed that there was going to be a race war, and they were going to have to go into the desert and hide so they could be the only white people to live, so they could reign and be the leaders at the end of it. Another thing that he's very famous for is the Tate LaBianca murders. That is the murders of a few very famous white people. He commanded his followers to murder them in order to initiate the race war because he knew it wasn't going to take off unless they initiated it. And then the people that he had carry out all of his missions was called the Manson family. One very interesting thing is that Charles Manson was never actually guilty of murder. He always had his followers do that for him. So some of the psychological mechanisms that he used and many other cult leaders use is impression management. This is how they originally get their followers. They know how to find these people that are in weak, vulnerable states. Usually they're in some sort of crisis, like young people, they're trying to get out in the world and figure out where they belong and who they are. And these cult leaders can go to them and say, hey, I'm the person for you. I can give you these friends and I can provide for you. Later on, once they actually get these members, they use manipulation and isolation to keep control of them. They twist the truth. They are very verbally abusive. They keep them isolated from people that are thinking sanely. They also are really good at brainwashing, as well as using that brainwashing to get the obedience that they want. However, in the end of all of this, it's fake. These leaders are always proven false and can never actually provide the real things that they promise you they can.